Okay, if you recall, the last chapter was on motivation. As a result of motivation, there's always a possibility that emotions and stress come into play. And if emotions and stress come into play, it can also positively or negatively affect one's health. So that's basically where we are going with this chapter. But let me ask you this question. Have you ever felt as though you have the weight of the world on your shoulders? Just everything comes crashing down. Uh, Assignments might be due. Possibly a payment is due. Possibly some other work-related responsibility is looming ahead of us and we're dreading it. And it's kind of interesting because some of the aspects that a person has to do when they start, they've been dreading it. We've been putting it off. We have been procrastinating. And this is really a large part of what happens as far as our emotions and stress is concerned. If we are motivated to complete a project and to begin that project, but then complete the project before it is due, we really have a lot better outcome as far as emotions and stress are concerned. Now, when we think about it, there are times when having the weight of the world on our shoulders could very well be a result of lack of motivation, procrastination, putting things off, and then when we put things off for a given length of time, it becomes more cumbersome on our shoulders. Well, we're going to look at emotion, stress, and health. Not always, but I would say that many times when we can complete these projects, get them off of the table, our emotions and stress will have a tendency to go down, and we will have better health. So as we look at this, what are emotions? Well, it's a feeling. It's a mind and body response to a given situation. I ask a question, do animals have emotions? You're watching some animals who possibly their owners have left them in a kennel for a week while they were on vacation. And when the owners return, the animals are so happy to see them. And then I've seen animals when their owners would holler at them and they would kind of slink away. So I'm not going to say here and say, hey, we are just like animals. We have emotion. But it's kind of interesting with animals and how they can display and how they can communicate with their owners. So what do emotions do? Well, emotions direct our attention, which they do, gives us focus, enhances memory. Certain aspects happen, and we want to remember the date that it did happen, or we want to remember a due date, a date that it should be completed. Emotions can play into that. It organizes behavior. If we read the emotions and then really as a result of this we have disorganized behavior, these emotions and this stress will mount, will get bigger. Again, a lot of the choice will be up to us. So it can organize behavior or it can disorganize behavior. It can work one of two ways. And we have the ability to train ourselves as to which way it should go. All right, we have negative and positive and social situations. I know that there are social situations. Individuals engage in these social situations, and some of them find it a very negative experience, and some really find it a positive experience. So even in social situations like going to a gathering, Sometimes, even though we don't want to attend a certain gathering, it might be well to go. And that goes right along with an approach avoidance type situation. Individuals want to avoid when actually they should approach. And when you get into the situation, you'll say, hey, this really wasn't that bad. Not bad at all. Okay, well, emotions can also prepare us for fight or flight. And basically, this was with our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. And our sympathetic nervous system prepares us for fight or flight as a result of the emotions and how we read the emotions. I think that it is interesting because there's a theory about emotions. Well, there's probably 3 or more theories about emotions, which we will be looking at. But over 600 words in the English language to express emotion. Now, there are roughly 42 muscles in the face to express emotion. And I believe that a happiness expression requires much less, as far as muscles are concerned, than a disgusted and angered type situation. I don't know whether you have ever been angry or not in your life. I'm not going to say that you have or that you haven't, because you are the best to decide that. Anger takes energy. I have to say that at times I was angry, and it is draining. It drains a person from their energy. Okay, around the world then we have 6 primary emotions. We have happiness, surprise, fear, sadness, disgust, and anger. Happiness. Happy students have gone on to earn more money. They've done studies on this, and students that are happy and are not burdened down with negative thoughts go on to earn actually more money than those individuals who are unhappy. Okay, surprise. It kind of lasts for a short time, and depending on what the surprise is, sometimes it's very enjoyable to receive a surprise, and sometimes it's a surprise that maybe we wished we hadn't seen or haven't received. Fear is a nature-nurture aspect, and twins, identical twins, show the same type of response, even though they are raised separately. Which, of course, and this is a no-brainer, this means that they're not raised together. I'm not trying to patronize anyone, but they are raised separately, and they show an identical, or not identical, but a similar response, and probably credit the amygdala for that. Sadness. If an individual is sad long enough, this could be the start of depression or even bipolar. Okay, disgust. This is kind of an attempt to avoid, not only in the future, but to avoid the future. It's a very disappointing type emotion. It's something that maybe we wish had never happened, that was put on hold and never been part of our life. Then anger can be considered a short-term madness. I have short madness here, but that should be short-term madness. And it'll also link to heart disease. Now, having said this, we have in our system something that's called a blood-brain barrier, BBB. And what this does, it is kind of like a screen around the brain, allowing just certain objects in. And when these objects can get in the brain, they can work on the brain. This is a positive aspect and a negative aspect, because some drugs can cross the BBB, blood-brain barrier, more easily than other substances. And that's why we become addicted. This is one of the things they do is they cross the blood-brain barrier. Okay, now, having said this, we have a blood-brain barrier similar to a disease called blood-brain barrier, BBB. Under stress, this is what is interesting. Under stress, this blood-brain barrier actually enlarges. So if the blood-brain barrier under stress will enlarge, it will allow in more types of addictions or addictive behavior or things that we have in our brain that we really don't want. Exciting topic. Exciting topic. Can we control our emotions? Yeah, we can learn to control our emotions. Can we control the stress? I believe that we have. I believe that we can work at it and control the stress, and it will result in a healthier type of individual. Exciting topic. I wish you my best in this topic.